Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Robert Paris, Phil Acaro, Matt DiMarzio, Ian Casciola with the community calendar, and Peter Brown with the weather. Thank you for joining us. State Senator Ken Donnelly is recovering after undergoing successful brain surgery to remove a tumor, his office reports. On Sunday night, it was reported that Donnelly was hospitalized at Mass General after not feeling well during a Senate session. After further tests, it was determined that surgery would be necessary. His office posted on Tuesday night that he had undergone the procedure and that it was a success. The report from his office said his medical team is very pleased with the outcome of the surgery and is resting comfortably. Donnelly's representatives also said that the senator and his family would like to thank everyone who sent their good thoughts and prayers along for him during this challenging time. The 2016 election season is here. Locally, we have a rematch between State Rep Ken Gordon and challenger Paul Gerard. BNews Director Rich Hosford spoke to both candidates and has this report.
The official 2016 campaign season is now on, and locally we have a race that might look familiar to some voters. Republican Paul Gerard, a Burlington resident, is once again challenging State Rep Ken Gordon, a Democrat from Bedford, for the 21st Middlesex District seat, which covers Burlington, Bedford, and Precinct 3 in Wilmington. In 2014, the vote was tight, with Gordon winning with 705 more votes out of the over 15,000 cast. To start our 2016 election coverage, I spoke with both candidates separately this week. I started by asking them each why they were running.
Well, my background is I was basically brought up here in Burlington. My parents moved up here in 1965, so I basically spent my whole life here in Burlington. And it's a great community. I definitely feel connected to the town here, not only Burlington, but also Bedford and Wilmington as well. So we have a lot of services here. It's a great place to live. And I just feel a certain connection here, and I think I can do a great job representing the people of this district.
Well, Rich, I want to run again because it's been my honor to represent Burlington in Beacon Hill for the last 4 years, and we've accomplished some goals. I'd love to talk to you about that. But there's more work to be done, and I'm in a position where I've been able to get the attention of the leadership in the House and work with them, and in a position to be able to accomplish more for Burlington.
I asked Gerard what were some of the issues that motivated him to run for a second time.
Well, I ran the first time in 2014. I got a very good response from voters. I talked to a lot of voters and connected with a lot of people, and have a lot of the same concerns that they have. We share a lot of concerns. That is, lack of transparency on Beacon Hill, lack of accountability a lot of times with our legislature, where they feel free to just vote and raise taxes without looking into the ramifications of them, what those taxes would be, and just a strong connection with the voters here. I got very good support, and I feel like running again, that it will be even better this time as I talk to even more voters.
I also asked Gordon what he thought was a big issue facing the district.
Well, in the 4 years that I've been serving, I've spoken with the residents, I've spoken with the owners of the businesses, the seniors, the parents of school-aged children, and what I hear is that what we could do to improve the lives of our residents and businesses here in Burlington is to improve the traffic. So what I've been able to do is get the engineers from MassDOT to come to Burlington to address the citizens. We did that last December, and the result of that is that we've gotten a commitment for $800,000 from the federal government to work on a plan that will straighten out the intersection of Route 128 and Route 3. And once we do that, we'll be able to help bring cars off of our secondary Burlington roads, because cars won't have to exit the highway in order to get around that traffic.
Gerard said he has spoken to voters and heard from many of them who share his more conservative viewpoints on a wide number of issues.
And I talked to a lot of voters, and a lot of them, I really connect with a lot of them. There's a lot of similar things where they want Beacon Hill to be more responsive to them. They want, for instance, if a vote comes up that says if you're going to receive public benefits, you need a valid Social Security number. And people get that. People realize that you can't go into a bank and open an account or go to the hospital or anything without a valid Social Security number. So why are we giving benefits to people who are here who can't provide a valid Social Security number? So that's something that people really connect with, and they get those type of things, and they don't understand why our representative would vote against requiring a valid Social Security number, or they don't get why they'd vote to not defund sanctuary cities, which are a threat to our security.
For his part, Gordon said he hopes voters will recognize what he's been able to accomplish in his 4 years in office and choose him over his challenger.
He has every right to run for this office and talk to people and tell them why he thinks that he's a better choice than I am. It's one thing for me to be talking about ideas, and we all have them, but what I can do is talk about how I've been able to put my ideas into play, how I've been able to turn those ideas into accomplishments. Here in Burlington, we can look at the traffic relief that we're getting from the commitment of federal funding to do that. That's an accomplishment. We can look at the shuttle service that will be starting for the restaurants, and that's an accomplishment. We can look at what I've been able to do in increasing funding for the schools every year by an average of 4%, and how I've been able to bring the school children from the elementary schools and the students from the high schools into to the State House to involve them in our civic engagement. All of those things are tangible accomplishments that I've brought back into the district.
Finally, I asked both candidates about their campaigns and how voters can get in touch with them.
It's just great talking to so many voters, and I think I'm looking forward to this election season. I think it's going to be great. I'm seeing lots of old faces and new, and I appreciate the support everyone has given me.
And what's the best way people can learn more about you? Is there a Facebook page, website?
Yeah, they can go to Facebook page. It's Paul for State Rep, or they can go to paulforstaterep.com to learn more.
Well, just as the way that I've gone about serving as your state representative, I'll be here to hear from you. I want to hear your concerns. I want to, and I'll take that into account. You'll know where to find me. We're here at 209 Cambridge Street. We've got a campaign office. Any of you, please come by if you've got concerns, if you want to address anything with us. I'll be at some of the public events that we have, and I'll be out there knocking on some of the doors in your neighborhood. But you don't have to wait for me. Please give us a call. Go to my website, www.reelectKenGordon.org. Leave me an email and I'll respond.
We'll have much more coverage of the race, so stay tuned to BNews. I'm BNews Director Rich Hosford.
U.S. News and World Report has issued a 2016-2017 rankings of the country's hospitals, and Burlington's Leahy Hospital and Medical Center scored quite well. In the rankings, Leahy was listed as number 6 in Massachusetts and number 5 in the Boston area. Leahy performed nearly at the level of nationally ranked U.S. News best hospitals in 5 adult specialties, the report states. Accordingly, hospitals are evaluated across 16 medical specialties that include cancer, cardiology, and heart surgery. 12 of the 16 specialties rely heavily on data from multiple sources, like the American Hospital Association and the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. In 4 other specialties, hospitals are scored on reputation among surveyed physicians. You can find a link to the full report at www.bcattv.org/bnews. Massachusetts took a step towards ensuring equal pay for everyone this week by passing a bill that disallows a traditional interview question, previous salaries. Governor Charlie Baker signed a bipartisan pay equity bill, which passed unanimously by both legislative branches to ensure equal pay for comparable work for all Massachusetts workers and equal opportunities to earn competitive salaries in the workplace, a release from the governor's office states. The new law will prevent pay discrimination for comparable work based on gender, the release states. The bill allows employees to freely discuss their salaries with coworkers, prohibits employers from requiring applicants to provide their salary history before receiving a formal job offer, and authorizes the Attorney General to issue regulations interpreting and applying the expanded law. Attorney General Maura Healey said this new law is an important step towards ensuring economic security for Massachusetts women and families. As you know, blood donations are down across the country and the need for donors is high. This week, BNews reporter Robert Paris went to a Red Cross blood drive here in Burlington to learn more. He files this report.
The Red Cross has been saving lives for more than 100 years. To help that cause, the American Legion in Burlington holds a blood drive from 1 to 7 p.m. to bolster the organization's blood supply for patients in need. However, across the country, blood donations have been low this summer. Ali Barraza, the communications manager for the Red Cross of Massachusetts, gave her feedback on the current state of the blood supplies and how much donations dropped during the summer.
Right now we're facing an emergency shortage. It typically happens during the summer months when people go away on vacation. They have fewer opportunities to make appointments to donate. So we want to make sure that we ask people maybe just to take an hour out of their time this summer. You're going to help save up to 3 lives with just one donation to help end that summer shortage right now, because over the last couple of weeks we've seen a 39,000 unit shortage across the country.
I asked her how dire the situation is and what does it mean for the doctors and emergency crews across the area.
Well, we are looking at a 39,000 unit shortage across the United States. That number is coming in and getting smaller and smaller every day. We are addressing that emergency need. People have answered the call to help, but we still do have the shortage. It is getting smaller, but we need your help now more than ever. And right now, we're trying to prevent any issues or problems with, doctors and patients in need. The goal is to fulfill 14,000 units every day across the U.S. to help patients in hospitals in need. We don't want to get to a point where we may have to see, doctors postponing elective surgery because there aren't the blood products available for that surgery. We're certainly hoping we don't have to come to that, and that's why we're putting out this call to donors right now so that we don't have to do that in the future.
I also asked if any specific blood types were especially needed.
All blood types are always needed. The need for blood is constant no matter what your type is, but we always try to ask O-negative donors because that's more of a universal blood type that can be administered to so many donors. Most patients in need when seconds count. In a trauma situation, when there isn't time to match the blood type, O-negative can be administered in a trauma situation.
She told BCAT where the donations will be delivered.
We can't say for sure exactly where it will be delivered. We service 2,600 hospitals across the U.S. We serve 89 in the Massachusetts and Connecticut region. So there's a good chance once it goes through testing at our Dedham facility, the blood that's being collected here in Burlington today will go to our Dedham lab and our processing facility, then sent to Charlotte to our testing facility, shipped back immediately once it's done with testing, and then it goes distributed to hospitals all around our community.
Tom Musil, a Red Cross donor, shared his thoughts on how donating blood makes a difference.
I do. I hope so. I hope it helps people who need it. I think it's it's a great organization, one that obviously works hard to help people who need help when they need it, and in crises and all kinds of disasters that happen around the country. And I'm glad to do a small part in contributing to that.
Want to find out how you can donate? Here's how.
You can make your appointment, book your appointment now. You can go to redcrossblood.org, O-R-G, or you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS to make that appointment. If you go on redcrossblood.org, the great thing is you can put in your zip code. You can find a, search mile radius, see how, where things are happening in your community. We're out at these blood drives all the time. We're here in Burlington today at the American Legion. There are community drives all over the place. So if you just type in that zip code, you're going to find a list of upcoming ones. Book that appointment, and we're happy to have you here. We thank you very much.
From the American Legion, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
The Massachusetts state primary, where the parties will choose their candidates for the November election, is set for Thursday, September 8th. The Burlington Town Clerk's office has absentee ballots for those who will be out of town, can't get to the polls due to a physical disability, or perhaps have a religious commitment on Election Day. Voters may apply and vote in the office or through the mail. The deadline to apply is noon on Wednesday, September 7th. Hospitalized voters must have been admitted after noon of the 5th day before the election. They must apply themselves and designate in writing who may hand carry the ballot to them. Applications can be made anytime. However, the ballot must be returned by the close of the poll. You can find more information and view a sample ballot at www.burlington.org. The state primary polls will be at Burlington High School, and voting will run from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. What's it take to win the gold? For gymnast Alexandra Allie Raymond, who trains at Brestian's American Gymnastic Club here in Burlington, it took years of dedication, training, and sweat. It also took a very impressive, near impossible floor routine that stunned the judges in London in 2012. During the 2012 Olympics, she won 2 gold medals and a bronze medal. Raymond, a Needham native, will be representing the United States next week in the Rio Games and will once again be showcasing her floor routine. She recently met with the Wall Street Journal at Brestian's to demonstrate the opening move of her floor routine, a series of flips, spins, and other displays of athleticism once considered impossible. That is the video you are seeing here, and you can watch in full at WSJ.com. Despite all the concerns around the Games, including the presence of the Zika virus and reports of environmental hazards, Raymond seems excited about competing at the Olympic level once again. She tweeted a photo of the 2012 team with the caption, "This was 4 years ago today. Now I'm looking forward to creating more special memories to last a lifetime with this 2016 team." With school out for the summer, BNews sports reporters Phil Arcaro and Matt DiMarzio haven't had a lot to do, so they skipped out on their regular beat and went down to 3rd Avenue to check out Public Safety Night 2016. Let's have a look.
If you were at 3rd Ave this last Wednesday, you may have noticed a lot of police and firefighters at Wegmans. They were all gathered there for Public Safety Night 2016. BNews reporters Phil Arcaro and Matt DiMarzio were on the scene to learn more about the inaugural event.
How's the night been so far?
Yeah, it's been great. We appreciate all our partners in law enforcement and the fire services. Big turnout of equipment, big turnout of firefighters and police officers, and most importantly, a big turnout of families, kids. It's just a great night.
Chief Kent directed us to one of the officers who helped organize the event, Detective Jim Tigas.
How did Public Safety Night come about?
Well, Public Safety Night is a spin-off of a national event called National Night Out. National Night Out is an event held across the country where police departments get together with members of their community in a non-stressful setting where they mingle with the people and mingle with the citizens. So that's always the first Tuesday in August. Burlington, we do things a little different. We hold our Public Safety Night Out, but we do it on the first Wednesday in August, and we do that for a particular reason.
Which is?
So the equipment you see here is committed to those events. So cities like Lowell, Somerville, Boston, they all have celebrations that this equipment has to go to. Well, if we were to do the same thing, that equipment would not be available on that Tuesday, the first Tuesday in August. So we do it the first Wednesday in August when there's no other celebrations that we're aware of, and we hold ours as a public safety night the night after. So now all this equipment is available and it comes here.
And what a myriad of equipment it was. There were police and fire department officers here to talk with while they demonstrated the different tools they use to keep the public safe. They also gave tours of the many vehicles on site. There were also critical care demonstrations, canine units, robots. The 911 Fox was on hand to teach kids the proper way to use the 911 emergency phone system. There was also free food and drinks, comfort dogs, a criminal sketch artist, and much, much more.
There's a lot of regional cooperation, in this area, and you're seeing that tonight. So if you come out tonight, you're going to see cruises. I've seen Concord and Middlesex Sheriff and Woburn and, cruises from all over. And you're seeing the motorcycles. There's, at least a dozen to 2 dozen motorbikes, lined up here. We're seeing, the various tools that we can call upon in public safety needs. So that's, I think that's the best part about tonight. And it's just to get people aware, these are people too. These guys do a great job for us here in Burlington, and it's just showing off, our folks, our equipment, and it's just a great opportunity. And thanks to Wegmans, for allowing us to do this.
We've been working with the detectives and the police department, talking about how we can kind of partner with them and help them out. And they came to us with this idea, and we thought it was perfect fit for it. We've got the space for it. The parking lot works out good with the garage. Rain or shine, we could make it happen. So,
I've already spoken to members of Wegmans, and it looks like this is going to be an annual event. And we are hoping that it'll grow and expand, and maybe expand to the area around Wegmans as well. I don't know that yet, but that's just our goal.
One of the things that was also at Public Safety Night 2016 was the junior jail, which is where Phil and Matt ended up at the end of the night. If you want to see more of the interviews that they did before getting busted, they will be coming soon to BCAT. Go to bcattv.org for more information.
I think the interviewing got a little bit of the best of us.
Yep. He did.
Thank you, Wegmans, and thank you to all of the police and fire departments of Burlington and beyond that keep us all safe. Okay, you jailbirds, Phil, Matt, take it away.
Well, we've had a great public safety night, but I think they caught up to us, didn't they, Matt?
Yes, they did.
And so, from one sports guy to another, I'm Phil Arcaro.
And I'm Matthew DiMarzio.
And see you next time.
See ya.
Middlesex Sheriff Peter Katusian joined members of the Burlington Rotary Club on Tuesday to discuss 2 recent trips to the White House, where he spoke about efforts to address the opioid crisis and mental health issues among the inmate population. The sheriff spoke about presentations he made at the White House in June on the Middlesex Sheriff's Office Medication-Assisted Treatment and Directed Opioid Recovery, or Matador program, as well as on mental health and incarceration at the July White House Forum on Disability and Criminal Justice. In 2015, nearly 46% of all admittances to the Middlesex Jail and House of Correction reported a history of mental illness. The Matador program provides inmates nearing the end of their sentences with a shot of Vivitrol, a non-habit-forming medication which blocks the effects of opioids for up to a month. Along with substance abuse counseling and other services, the program seeks to continue an inmate's sobriety upon their reentry into the community. Sheriff Katusian also discussed the establishment earlier this year of the Commonwealth's first specialized housing unit for incarcerated veterans. The Housing Unit for Military Veterans offers programming specifically tailored to veterans' needs, employment readiness, substance abuse treatment, visits from the Department of Veteran Services, and guest speakers from military and civilian life. We go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown in our weather center to check out this week's forecast. We'll also take a look at the community calendar with Ian Casciola to see what's happening in and around Burlington.
Well, hello everyone. This is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the upcoming period. And I'm sure you noticed the past few days we had some gray days around here, which is kind of something we haven't seen a lot of this summer. But unfortunately, here in the Burlington area, we only got about 1/10 of an inch of rain, so it really didn't help us out, unfortunately, that much. As you can look here, starting at our period, coming up on Thursday, we're going to see temperatures about average in the mid-80s, but very dry weather again, that's for sure. As we get to the end of the period, to next week, can you believe it, August 10th already coming up. That's incredible. Temperatures in the mid-80s, and it's going to pretty much be a par for the course kind of week. Dry and sunny, that's for sure, but great if you're away or on vacation, that's for sure. As we move ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going to be going on with our weather for the next 7 days. As you can see here, look at this. You see some raindrops on here. That's something, that's a novelty, that's for sure. These are going to come on Saturday. We're going to see a front pushing through on Saturday. That's going to bring us ahead of it, though, some warm and humid conditions. Temperatures may be close up to 90 again on Saturday, and hopefully we can squeeze maybe a little bit of rain, maybe late at night, because we, of course, don't want our rain on during Celebrate Burlington, which I hope you'll all be there to join us. And as you can see here, after that front moves through, look at this up in Canada. All sun, no clouds, and that's what's going to be heading towards us after we get to the beginning of next week. So dry weather is sure coming along, that's for sure. Nothing really wet coming. And I'm going to show you a little bit, one thing interesting that's going on right now in the world of weather, and this is Hurricane Earl that we have going on right now down in the Caribbean. Now, this storm is far, far away from Burlington. It's not going to be affecting us, but it's really the first, interesting storm we've seen this summer. We really haven't seen too much activity in the tropics, which for a year where El Nino is pretty weak, that's kind of odd. And we're kind of hoping maybe one of these storms could come up and give us some remnants so we could get some nice rain, but we'll have to wait and see if that works out. But for the tropics, that's pretty much all that's going on right now is Hurricane Earl. So if you're down here in Central America going there away on vacation, keep that in mind as we head towards the weekend. As we move ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about our 7-day forecast. And look at this, starting out on Thursday and Friday and also Saturday. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s again. And look at this on Saturday, Celebrate Burlington. Hopefully we can hold off those showers until late at night when everybody is home. So we're going to be hoping for that. But look at this, starting out again Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Nothing but wall-to-wall sunshine, temperatures in the mid 80s again. So we might introduce maybe a little bit of rain by Wednesday, but again, that's something very iffy. It might be just spotty showers. So it looks like our dry spell is continuing this summer. But I hope you get out there and enjoy the weekend, and we hope to see you at Celebrate Burlington on Saturday, and enjoy the weather.
Hello and welcome to your community calendar. Are you looking to spend a day at Cape Cod? On Friday, August 12th, the Burlington Recreation Department is hosting a day trip to Hyannis. This trip will include an exciting Hyannis duck tour where you will see the Kennedy's Church, a Cape Cod lighthouse and beautiful beach houses, and waterfront properties. There will be an afternoon brunch at the Old Yarmouth Inn. Finally, enjoy reserved festival seating for the Boston Pops Esplanada Orchestra featuring Maestro Keith Lockhart. Registration is required for this trip. The cost per person is $147. For more info, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1695. The first day of school is tough, and making friends is even tougher. On Saturday, August 13th at 11 a.m., the Barnes & Noble in Burlington is hosting a storytime event featuring the book Milk Goes to School. In the book, Milk's dad gave her a sparkly new backpack and told her that she was the creme de la creme. But most of the other kids don't seem to agree. In fact, some of her new classmates think Milk is just a little bit spoiled. In this latest picture book from Terry Border, a cast of food characters go to school and learn that it's not just milk that's the creme de la creme. Some other food can be just as sweet. The event is free and everyone is welcome. For more info, visit barnesandnoble.com or call 781-273-3871. Finally, are you looking for a fun way to entertain your kids? On Tuesday, August 9th from 11 to 11:45 a.m., the Burlington Public Library is having a special event, Jenny Mac's Kids Music. For more than a couple of decades, Jenny Mac has been entertaining children with her music. Her collection of music includes original songs and traditional favorites. The event is free, and parents with children ages 1 through 8 are welcome. For more info, visit the Burlington Public Library website at burlington.org or call 781-270-1690. You can also visit Jenny Mac's website at jennymac.com. This has been your community calendar. I'm Ian Casciola. Back to you in the studio.
Get ready for some fun. Celebrate Burlington 2016. The town's annual celebration on the town common is happening this Saturday, August 6th. There's a lot to see and do this year. The carnival on the common begins at 11 a.m. and runs until 4 p.m. Then there is a car show at Simons Park from 5 to 7 p.m. At 7 p.m. there will be a concert back on the town common. To top it all off, there will be a fireworks display starting at 9 p.m. The fireworks will be shot off from behind the Human Services Building at 61 Center Street and can be easily seen from either the Common or Simons Park. During the carnival, there will be a host of activities including fire engine rides, bouncy houses, remote car racing, pony rides, a dunk tank, and a giant water slide. There is also a trackless train that will give children a ride around the common, games of chance, and a lot of food. Also, be sure to swing by the BCAT van for our green screen magic. We'll be able to film you in a variety of different situations, like with your favorite Pokemon, for example, and we'll even have props to make the transformation complete. We'll also be out taping the event, so be sure to wave to the cameras and come over and tell us how much fun you're having. We love to hear from you, our viewers, and we especially love it when you share your photos and videos with us. Today we have another edition of Your Photo Here, where we showcase the photos you send to us about what you're doing and seeing around town. Here we have a couple of photos from Linda McNamee of Girl Scouts Troop 69023, who went to the Burlington Police Department with survival kits for law enforcement officers that had treats they had purchased using money from their cookie sales. Linda explained that the survival kits were made up of treats, each one symbolizing something an officer has, needs, or in some way demonstrates the Scouts' appreciation for what they do. For example, there were lifesavers to remind police of the many times they've been lifesavers themselves, and gum to help everyone stick together. Your photos can be featured on this segment as well. Email them to news@bcattv.org with a short description. Okay. Here at BNews Weekly, I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNews Director Rich Hosford, Phil Arcaro, Robert Paris, Matt DiMarzio, Ian Casciola, and Peter Brown with the weather. Thank you for joining us.